In this video, I'm driving a Dutch Volvo. It's the 440, and what a pretty Dutch scene this really is. So yeah, Volvo 440 replacement for the 340 seems obvious enough, but where a 340 was rear wheel drive, this one is front wheel drive. I'm pointing at the wheels just in case you don't know what a front and a rear is. I don't know why I'm doing that. But yeah, transverse engine from Renault ostensibly. Underpinnings also very Renault. There's quite a lot of Renault 9 in there, believe it or not, because the 440 is based on the 480, the weird little coupe thing. Very much the same running gear and platform. To obviously save costs as much as possible. This is phase 2, so it has a slightly different front end, no gingicators. Headlamp wipers were available, sadly not fitted. In fact, this is a fairly lowly spec one. It has power steering and central locking, and that is pretty much it in terms of options. Keep fit windows and no rear wiper, but it does have a HubNut sticker, so all is still fairly well in the world. Yeah, quite nice styling, nothing dramatically exciting, but let's face it, other than the 480, Volvo was not doing anything particularly dramatic and stylish at the time. Clearly the facelift, front and rear, the lights and this at the back and the front, very much designed to tie it in with the 850, its larger sibling, and obviously we've got the proper Volvo grille going on as well, which is quite nice. So yeah, not a exactly remarkable looking car, but clean enough, stylish, and everyone I know who's owned one seems to have enjoyed the experience pretty much. But one of the benefits of having Renault engines initially is one of the versions available was turbocharged, just as it was from Renault, but they got Porsche to tweak some of the finer points of the engine to get a bit more power out of it. So I don't think it's true to say that they originally had Renault engines. That was their base, but they were developed quite a lot by Porsche. Suspension likewise was tuned by Lotus, no less, to give a better response. Something the Swedish people wanted more, although the development of these cars was pretty much farmed out to Nedcar, the Dutch offshoot, which of course stems all the way back to the DAF days, the Variomatics. The later Variomatics had Renault engines indeed, so that relationship was already established, and this car very much kept that going. So in production from 1987 to 1997, I think. This is a 97. Production may have ended towards the end of 96, but a few registrations strayed over into 97. Better have more of a look around, I suppose, rather than just looking at it here. The doors, yeah, it's not bad, not brilliant. And climbing aboard, when I climbed into this car earlier, sorry, those awful sandals are back, just to warn you in case we look at the pedals. The vibe I picked up was very much Dacia Logan, and I mean that in a good way. But that was the vibe I got. The plastics aren't perhaps the finest. There's lots of nice smooth edges going on, but you know, interesting switch gear. That's quite good for fingertip operation of the heated rear window and the fog lights. Lights on, should probably put the lights on permanently because it's a Volvo. But over here it is blanking plugs ahoy. So providing the poverty here. I'm not going to press that button in case we end up going intergalactic. But with that, you know, I approve of the indicator noise and a nice proper analog clock. Obviously we've got more modern stereo because my friend likes more modern tunage, actual sound quality. 210,000 kilometers on the clock of this example. 5-speed gearbox, that'll be a transaxle, move the foot, driving the front wheels. Down in the pedal area, there's somewhere for me to rest my foot over here. Wouldn't have necessarily had that in the UK, but the pedals are nicely placed, and the seats are nicely sculpted and very comfortable. Some of the trim is turning a bit flimsy in the heat, and is that the glove box button up there? Oh, there we go. Oh yeah, that is flimsiness to the max. But a couple of cup holders in there, fair amount of storage space, a little shelf up the top, storing your pens. It's not bad, but yeah, there we go. Keep fit windows. The door handles do look a bit of an afterthought, really, covering up the speaker grills like that. But otherwise, you know, nice chunky steering wheel, nice driving position, all is well in the world. I will say Steiner's fitted aero blades, which is pretty much an unforgivable sin, but as he's putting me up for the night, I will forgive him, because charity is a good thing. Right, let's have a peek in the back. Oh wow, I'm actually surprised at the amount of space in the back. I've got headroom, even with my new spiky hair. Look at the knee room. I mean, this is a small car, and acres of leg room. And even on this poverty model, I still get a centre armrest. So yeah, I would say that's much more commodious than I expected. So we'll call that good times. Yeah, there is a slight flimsiness, which isn't entirely Volvo. I say that, actually, I've previously owned a 740 and it was quite remarkably flimsy in terms of interior plastics, so maybe we shouldn't blame Nedcar for that. I'm going to have a quick nose in the boot. Oh yeah, that's a fairly decent size as well. You can see split rear seats. Steiner's let a couple of rather larger speakers in. The sound quality is excellent. And 1.6, yeah, I got a bit distracted on engine, so let's go and look at the engine. Because, yeah, this one isn't quite so Renault, although it sort of is. Apparently it has its roots. Find the bonnet pull. Where would you live if you were a bonnet pull? Don't tell me to put it on the driver's side. And passenger side, right? No, what's that there? There we go. Clank. Yeah, Stein reckons the... Got a little lever down there, but this engine actually began life as a Renault diesel engine before being converted to petrol and also used in the Megane. Obviously, you know, 1990s, the Megane replaced the 9 and 11 and the 19. Don't forget the 19. So yeah, this is a newer engine, all very simple really. We can see the iron block by the look of it. Timing belt, fairly accessible. Hydraulic stabiliser. Now it's just a rough guess, but I would suspect the French ones didn't have that. A well-worn pulley down there, Stein. Have you seen the state of that? That's very shiny. But one assumes it actually goes around. But yeah, all very simple. Just about to see the ground through in places. Oh, look, you can even see some wiper linkage going on. That's delicious. And a hydraulic strut. So I approve of that as well. They do make life a lot easier. Not the most inspiring clonk. Right, I'll get the camera set up. We shall go for a drive because we're going to go for a very special drive in this car. Right, something a bit different on this test. We're only about 10 miles away from where this car was made. So we're going to take it home. Start the engine. Oh, maybe turn that fan off, not much point. Now it has to be said, neither the starter motor nor the way this car fires into life are particularly glamorous. But it's quite a nice gear change, it's nice and accurate, if a bit rubbery. The handbrake is a bit too square sectional for my liking, it's just not something you actually want to put your hand on. But nonetheless, we shall continue on our way. Got the bulb warning already on the dashboard, that's an encouraging sign. So already you can kind of feel the Renault heritage. It's the combination of engine and gearbox. It's got a very charismatic whine. Not quite so much on these later versions with the second generation engines, but yeah, it definitely has a hint of Renault noise about it, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. You know, remember the good old days when you could tell what a car was by the soundtrack? Yeah, you were some way over the line there, madam. It picks up well enough. How does it handle the Drempels? We'll just bring ourselves back down to the appropriate speed of 30. Yeah, it's no Citroen, but generally it's refined enough. The seats are very comfortable. I find it a very pleasant place to sit, actually. I can imagine over long distances this car must be superb. Over cobbled streets, not so much. It feels very appropriate to drive a Dutch-built car on Dutch roads. Like I say, the heritage of this car goes all the way back to DAF, which went its own way very much. The Van Dorn brothers, their development of belt drive with continuously variable pulleys was very much the Dutch way, and the 340 was actually meant to be a DAF. But Volvo bought the company because, being a small car company in the 1970s, not very easy, it has to be said. Ooh, Nissan Patrol Y60, very nice. So yeah, DAF was acquired by Volvo, and Volvo made the 340 its own, and also developed conventional transmission options eventually, 5-speed gearboxes. But yeah, I'm glad of the power steering. It makes it rather effortless to drive, really. Oh, there's one of my Renault relatives there in the truck. And Dodge Ram, is that? Yeah, that's big. But these are very much traffic calmed roads, but hopefully fairly soon we can get onto something a bit more enticing, shall we say. But it's a very easy car to drive. There's some strange vibrations at times. Right of way there, thank you. Or dank u is what they actually say here in the Netherlands, I think. I got a German in front of us because we're very close. Oh, 2 Germans, very close to the German border, but we're going straight on this way. So. Yeah, it's a decent amount of shove, I'd say. And here in the Netherlands in particular, where it's an 80 km/h speed limit, you don't want any more power than that. That will do quite nicely, thank you very much. Well, it's starting to rain a bit, so we'll do the window up, which will make life a little bit quieter. Oh yes, that's peaceful. And give us a chance to test the windscreen wipers. Oh, it's good pattern. I mean, it's cheap aero blades, which is not superb, but yeah, it's a good pattern. Just keep an eye on the cyclist there. Got the intermittent setting. Yeah, oh, there we go. No triangle of doom, a good overlap at the top of the windscreen. Something Renault lost on the Megane Mark II. The first Megane had a nice wiping pattern, albeit the wipers tended to wear out far too quickly. The linkages would all wear out and they wouldn't wipe very well. But yeah, the Mark II Megane is where Renault started going a bit to triangle of doom. I think they started doing it on Lagunas first of all. So yeah, terribly sad times. You have no idea what I'm on about, do you? If you haven't been a long time HubNut subscriber, yes, you won't know that the triangle of doom is a thing. There is a strange vibration that I can't quite place coming from somewhere, so the NVH isn't perfect on this car, but yeah, it's really nice to drive. Right, we shall push on and see if we can get ourselves to the factory. The factory is in Born in the Netherlands, in the Limburg region. I'm liking what I've seen of Limburg so far, I must admit. It's a nice folksy rural part of the Netherlands that I like a great deal. Ooh, I like that Ford Taunus wagon there as well. Very nice. So we're coming up to the Nedcar factory, which does still make cars. I've entirely forgotten which cars it makes these days. I think some minis are made here. The mini convertibles might be made here. You know, the very British mini, but it's made in the Netherlands and Austria. Austria being the 4x4s built by Magna Steyr. And I saw it said VLD Nedcar. I wonder if they make the coaches here as well, because VLD used to be Volvo. The Volvo Futura is easily one of my favourite coaches of all time. Yeah, that's a nicely geared steering rack, and the indicators don't seem to self-cancel, which is obviously a plus in my book. I don't like self-cancelling indicators. And there we go, the VLD factory, VLD Nedcar, where this car was made 22 years ago. Impressive. So there we go, there is a Volvo 440 that we have brought back to the Nedcar factory in which it was built. Definitely not a car to blow your socks off, but in truth, not everyone wants a car that blows their socks off. Sometimes you just want to get somewhere in comfort and in peace and quiet, and I thought it was a really nice car to drive. It's, yeah, definitely not a car that sort of appeals to your senses and wants you to get a hurry on perhaps, but very, very competent nonetheless. So I shall say thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go. Hit that subscribe button, and you'll get various options, I think, these days about whether you want every notification or just some. But yeah, see what happens. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Farewell. So yeah, I think I'm impressed with this car, and has to be said, I really should have taken that junction. Oops.